Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge. And today we're going to do a Kindle Unlimited book haul. So this is my Kindle Scribe. Yes, it's so beautiful. These are all my pretty stickers that I have on it. I'm going to, when I do these, I actually read off of my Amazon Fire tablet. This is what I use for this for two reasons. Number one, it's a little bit like easier and like quicker to navigate. Like I think sometimes the Kindles like don't go as fast as I want. Also, I just like the infinite scroll feature so much. I love it so much. So, what are we doing today? What is a KU haul, if you don't know? So, it's just kind of like it sounds. We're going to go through my KU library here, and I'm going to tell you all the books that I have currently checked out. The last time I did this video was actually back in December. I just checked. And I felt like it was time to do it now because all of those 20 books from that video have been either read or returned. So none of the books that I have on here now, except maybe one of them, maybe even two of them. Okay, I lied. Maybe two of them I still have. So we're going to go through the other, we'll go through all of them, but what I'm going to do for this, I've done it before and it was very helpful, is I'm going to tell you the book, kind of why I have it on here, like if there's a specific reason, and then read the description real quick. And then what I want you guys to do down below is tell me which ones you want me to prioritize, either because you're curious about it and you want my opinion, you know, whether it's worth it for you, or whether you've read it and you're like, Jen, you got to get to that one. You got to get to it right now. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to start with the ones that are furthest back, because they're the ones that if by the time I do another one of these, I haven't read them yet, it's going to be time to pass them on. So let's go ahead and do this. I'll move this up a little closer, and we'll go through it. So the first one is Blood Orange by Karina Halley. And I actually recently had both Blood Orange and Black Rose on here because I've been wanting to get to this duet. Okay, this is the Dracula duet, but I just hadn't been in the mood for it. And I'd read the first couple chapters for it when Blood Orange came out. And then when I heard it was a duet, I was like, oh, I'll wait for the second one to come out. And then I never got around to it. So this one has just sat here, and it's kind of a shame. So for this one is Dahlia Abernathy, who has only known revenge. When her parents were killed at an early age by vampires, Dahlia spent the rest of her life under the thumb of the Witches Guild, being trained to kill them. Her latest mission sends her undercover to a prestigious music academy in Venice, Italy, and her goal is to kill Professor Valto Amanoff, her teacher and the notorious vampire who inspired Bram Stoker's Dracula. But getting close to a dangerous vampire like Professor Amanoff is one thing, falling for him is another. With Dahlia's appearance disguised under a glamour spell, Valto has no idea that the woman who has become his new dark obsession is actually the reincarnation of the woman he loved and lost twice before. And Dahlia doesn't remember that the very man she's been sent to kill is the love of her life. Will their love continue through and transcend time once again, or are the fated lovers destined to let history repeat itself? So, right, super compelling. And I believe that there are audiobooks for both of these too, so it would be a good time to pick it up. I'm going to have to take frequent coffee sips to read all these. We're going to keep going. The next one on here is Their Master by S.M. LaViolette, aka Minerva Spencer. And this is the, I think, last book in the Victorian Decadence series. And it's this one says a steamy and exciting story of love and revenge. And I love S.M. LaViolette. I really, really do. And so when this one came out, I immediately snagged it. And this one, I believe, is supposed to be a menage. And I love how she writes historical menage so much. So I really want to get to this one. But her books also tend to take a lot out of me, her erotic ones. And so I'm nervous at the same time. I'm so nervous for this one. So this is what this one says. Mr. Smith, pause already. Mr. Smith is someone I've been wanting to read about the whole time. If you've read any of the books in this series, like, Mr. Smith is such a mystery. Okay. Mr. Smith has lived his entire adult life with one goal in mind: revenge. Thanks to the wealth and power he has amassed over the years, that goal is almost within reach. The only other thing that he's ever wanted is a child of his own, but with his lifelong plans finally coming to fruition, now would be a terrible time to start a family. Besides, finding a woman who is willing to tolerate his voracious and adventurous appetites is extremely unlikely, until Mariah Dunsmore, a far too mysterious and intriguing courtesan, enters his life. Striking a bargain with Mariah to bear his child is too appealing an opportunity to pass up. Smith never imagined that Mariah would be so open to his unconventional lifestyle or so accepting of his live-in male lover, and he certainly never expected to feel anything for her. But she is, and he does. Love is something Smith has had precious little experience with in his life. Can he trust and love? And Mariah, what if the price of their happily ever after is his long-awaited revenge? So, just to say, too, this is a sensual and emotional historical romance featuring a mysterious bisexual hero, a heroine who is far more than she claims to be, a gorgeous and oh-so-eager body servant, and a happily ever after that none of them ever saw coming. So, like I said, I really love how she does erotic romance, how she has multiples involved, even though sometimes the books frustrate me because her characters, I just want them to find love so badly. So, this is one that's been sitting on here quite a while. Blood Orange and Their Master are the two oldest ones in the library, but I really want to get to them. So the next one, I'll actually grab it because I also have the physical copy. I have all three versions of this book, so we'll show it to you. Oh, my lighting decided to go away when I did that. The next one on my Kindle is A Crown of Cruel Lies. So I do have the physical copy of this now. I absolutely love it. And my plan this time is to listen to it. Look at Lana is also an artist. So there's literally pictures in here. This is the newest book. This is part of the season of the Elf. The audio finally came out. So part of the reason this one's been in here so long, I have reasons for it. It's been in here so long because I was waiting for the audiobook, because I've listened to the audiobooks of all the rest of them. And then for my birthday, I actually bought myself the physical copy as well. So I have the physical copy and I also have the ebook, because when you have the ebook, it makes the audiobook cheaper. So that's why I have all three versions of this one. But let me just read the back of this one to you real fast so that you know. It's the golden rule woven in the people of Elfine. Fae can't lie. But for deaf elf guardian Aaron, he knows this isn't true. Lies are told between the lines, in misdirection and in false hope. When he turns up at the spring court with his newfound broken human mate in his arms, he learns the cruelest lie of all. He is not who he thought he was. His whole life has been orchestrated, even this moment, even his new love burgeoning in his heart for a human enemy with more secrets than his own. Learning to trust and accept is hard for both of them, but with civil war on their doorstep, fate plotting to take them down, and the taint of the well growing more dangerous, they have no choice but to try. Trust can only be found if they start from within. Only then will they know where their true enemies lie. So this is technically book 8 in the series, but it's book 2 in the season of the Elf. You really should start with the wolves and then the vampires to get to the elves. So yeah, this one isn't going anywhere. I'm not taking this one off of my Kindle because I want the audiobook to be cheaper, so I need to snag that. All right, then we have one that I've seen all over the place. This one is Fair Catch by Candy Steiner. Now, I've never read a Candy Steiner, but I've heard great things about this series. This is Red Zone Rivals, and this one says it's an enemies to lovers roommate sports romance. And I believe that further books in this series are some people's absolute favorites. Again, I need my color to come back. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so this one says, as if things aren't already tough enough as the only girl on a college football team, Coach had to go and assign Zeke Collins as my roommate, a cocky kick returner and my brother's best friend who should have been ripped off the title years ago, who has been who should have been ripped of the title years ago. He's as infuriating as he is undeniably sexy. I hate him, and for good reason. Reason I won't ever let him forget. He thinks because we grew up together that it's his role to protect me, but all he does is get in my way, make me look weak, and piss me off more. I tell him I can handle myself, and I'm hell-bent on getting that point across to him and the rest of the nation watching the only girl in collegiate football. The pressure doesn't get to me. The scrutiny I'm ready for. But sharing very thin walls with Zeke Collins, I wasn't prepared for that. And the more we're forced together, the harder it is to distinguish that pencil-thin line between hating him and wanting him. I'm totally up for this one. Sports romance is something that I always like come in and out of at different times, so I'm totally ready to give that one a go. Next, there is The Monstrous Duke and I by, this one is by, D. St. Holm. So I actually had a bunch of books from the Monster Ball series on my Kindle, and then I've gotten rid of a couple of them just because I wanted to start with one of them. So I'm super intrigued by monsters in region. So I'm all for these. I haven't been in the mood yet. But I know there's one by like Catherine Moon, and there's one by who's the other? I just forgot. There is a bunch of great monster romance authors who have books in this. So this one is The Monstrous Duke and I. It says, Dear Miss Penelope Essex, on account of your unforgivably bookish ways and abysmal attempts at conversation, Her Majesty has deemed your season a failure. With no marriage proposals, no dowry, and no prospects, you are hereby ordered to attend the Monster Ball. Confirmed wallflower, Penelope Essex has every intention of tending her brother's library for the rest of her days, but first she must survive the Monster's Ball. Held at a remote Gothic estate, the 3-day ball is rife with monstrous nobles, all determined to claim a mate. They'll do whatever it takes to seduce her into hidden corners, to tempt her into signing a marriage contract. Escaping with her spinsterhood intact seems impossible until she spots her childhood crush, the now monstrous Duke of Roth. Lord William Warwick is normally as cool as the cold fire covering his body. When he became a frost flame demon, he swore he'd never take a mate. Yet when he sees Penny Essex struggling to resist 3 monstrous nobles, he rushes to her side and pretends to be her fiancé. A fake betrothal is the perfect cover, except the longer they're together, the more she wants his fire to claim her. But will her Duke treasure her heart and her beloved books, or will their passion send them both up in flames? Okay. See, I'm excited for that. I'm excited. I want it. This is why I love doing these. They're always very successful for me because they remind me why I grabbed the book. So that is one of them. Then we have Sinners Anonymous by Psalm Sketcher. This is one that has been recommended by you guys, as well as my friend Ashley loves this series. She says it's pretty bonkers, and I'm here for it. So this one is A Forbidden Love Dark Mafia. And this one says, My fiance's nephew knows every sin I've ever committed. He's about to become the deepest and darkest of them all. My name is Rory Carter, and I do bad things. There's a charred soul under this angelic exterior, and sometimes I wonder if my weekly confessions to the Sinners Anonymous hotline will be enough to heal it. Marrying the 70-something head of the Cosa Nostra to save my father is the only good deed I've ever done. I'm burning and bitter under the fake smile and tight dresses, but I was keeping it together. Until my fiance's nephew turns up to dinner uninvited. Angelo Vicious Visconti, a beautiful monster with cheekbones as sharp as his tongue. They say I shouldn't be scared of him because 9 years ago he went straight. He's barely a made man anymore, but I say he's the most dangerous Visconti of all. It's not just his cold sneer that makes my pulse flutter, or the way his syrupy drawl trickles down my spine. No, he holds all my sins in his big rough hands, and the only sins darker than mine are his own. So this says age gap, and I'm like, is he the older one since she's going to marry someone who's 70? Like, it could be that her fiance's 70 and his nephew easily could be 50 and she could be like 20 years old, because it says that this is a forbidden love age gap, enemies to lovers, and it could be still that she's the younger one, but I was excited for a second that she was older. I don't know. We'll see. Don't anybody tell me, because I plan to get to that one. All right, then there is Rein Me In by Kayla Gross. And isn't this just an adorable cover? Okay, definitely grabbed it for the cover. And one of my other friends was reading it. I can't remember if Christy was reading it or who I saw, but you know that I'm always in a Cowboy girl era, okay? I've never left it. I'm in it. So this one looks adorable. And this one says, a small town, late brother's best friend, cowboy romance with a plus-size female main character. Blake Tanner never thought she'd return to her hometown after her brother Reed died in a tragic accident, but when her mom gets injured, she comes home to help out at her family's ranch. Now, only 5 years after her brother's accident, she can't hide from the grief, the people, or the guilt that she's been running from. Gavin Montgomery didn't plan for his life to be this way. He didn't ask to be stuck with a pile of debt, the responsibility of a failing family business, or a little brother with a drinking problem. But when his dad died 9 months ago, Gavin had no choice but to step up, take care of his family, even if that involved hiding the truth from them, that they're about to lose everything. When Blake reluctantly agrees to attend a charity date auction at the local towny bar, she figures supporting the family of her late brother's best friend is the right thing to do. Only Gavin is no longer the sweet young boy she remembers, and when he challenges her to ride the mechanical bull in front of the whole town, what choice does she have but to saddle up? But getting back in the saddle might be a mistake, because even if she's an expert rider, there's no way in hell she's letting that cowboy hold the reins. Will Blake and Gavin find a way to work through their grief and ride off into the sunset, or will they be over faster than an 8-second ride? Aww, this one sounds so cute. Yeah, that's why I grabbed this one. Love it. Love it. I love it. Okay, Scandals of the Father by Zoe Blake. All right, so just by seeing the cover, you can probably guess why I grabbed it, even though I heard this one was really crazy and maybe a little bit like Adelaide Forest over the top. But I grabbed it because Daddy Wander is on the cover. I love my salt and pepper men, and I especially love when it's Wander. So let's read what this one says. This one says, being attracted to her wasn't wrong, but acting on it was. As a patriarch of the powerful and wealthy Cavalieri family, my choices came with consequences for everyone around me. The roots of my ancestral billion-dollar winery stretch deep into the rich Italian soil, as does our legacy for ruthlessness and scandal. It wasn't the fact she was half my age that made her off limits. Nothing was off limits for me. A wounded bird caught in a trap not of her own making. She posed no risk to me. My obsessive desire to possess her was the real problem, for both of us. But now that I've seen her, tasted her lips, I can't let her go. Whether she likes it or not, she needs my protection. I'm doing this for her own good, yet she fights me at every turn, refusing the luxury I offer, desperately trying to escape my grasp. I need to teach her to obey before the dark rumors of my past reach her, ruin her. She cannot find out what I've done, not before I make her mine. So yeah, I think this one is like, he kind of like forces her to be his type of scenario. All right, then there is Coach by Devony Perry. And this one I also want because there's an audiobook for this one. So this one is Football Star, Single Dad, and Once a Long Time Ago, Mine. I spent the better part of a decade forgetting Ford Ellis. If he had just stayed away from Montana, I might have erased the memory of his striking blue eyes and rugged smile forever. Avoiding him was easy when the only place I saw his face was on ESPN, and a remote control could fix that problem. Except my boss just hired Ford as the new head coach for the Treasure State Wildcats. Not only will I be stuck watching him on the sidelines this season, but avoiding him will be impossible now that we're working together. Maybe I haven't forgotten Ford. Maybe I still dream about what we might have been. Maybe he hasn't forgotten me either. Except those maybes won't change the fact that we were never meant to be. Maybe he was mine once, but as of today, the only thing I'll be calling Ford Ellis is Coach. Dun, dun, dun. All right, The Playing Game by Ainsley Booth. So this one is on here because I used to read a lot of Ainsley Booth. I'd actually read almost all of her stuff at one point. She had this one series that had menages in it and kinky in it. It was called like it was called like the Beavers, something. And it had to do with, like, one of them was about the mayor and his secretary, and it had a lot of, like, Sierra Simone vibes to the kink involved. And there was one that was a menage in it that I loved. It's in my top menages that I've ever read. And she also had this, like, bodyguard series. One of them that was really popular was, like, The Booty Call. And I'd read a bunch of those. And then I had kind of caught up to hers and I hadn't read more. Also, not all of her books were in KU at the time, so I didn't get to them. But then this one just popped up and I was like, hey, let's see it. So this one says this. NHL veteran Kieran Marsh has made more relationships than trips to the sin bin, making him a player on and off the ice. And 2 years ago, I had a one-night stand with him when I thought I would forever stay the anonymous girl in the hockey jersey. But now my city has an expansion team, and guess who's one of their stars? Of course, I accepted an offer to see the opening game night. I can't stay away, even though hockey destroyed my family, and so much about Kieran reminds me of the worst things my father ever did to my mother. And when Kieran sees me in the stands, I know nothing is going to be the same again. This is his game, and he knows how to win. Oh, snap. That one sounds good. All these sports romances. I'm here for it. All right. This one. Hitched. A dark hitchhiker romance. So, this one is on my list, plain and simple, because of Cheyenne. She read this, really talked it up, and so I snagged it. But I still haven't got around to it. So, this one actually, has a really short explanation to it. It says this. Hitched is a dark gray hitchhiker romance. The rabbit's foot sways in the car, a bad omen that I chose to ignore. Her innocent face and offer for a ride are too tempting. Little does she know I'm a dangerous man on the run, a sociopath with a thirst for the thrill of the hunt. Selena is my rabbit. I'm about to ensnare her in my trap. As we speed toward the border, emotions I thought I was incapable of stir within me. But danger lurks around every turn, and the stakes rise with each passing moment. What will happen when we reach our destination? Will I let her go, or will I keep her by my side forever? The game has just begun, Rabbit. Are you ready to play? Buckle up for a heart-pounding ride with Hitched, the dark hitchhiker romance that will leave you begging for more. Yeah, I want to read that one. I definitely do. Bum, ba, bum. This one, oh my gosh. Okay, so now we have a historical. This one is by this one. So this one showed up in my Facebook group that has steamy historical romances. It's called Upturned Petticoats and Undone Cravats. I highly recommend you find this on Facebook if you want spicy historicals. So they only put up recs that are 3 chili peppers or above. They have their own scale for what the chili peppers mean, but they're pretty spicy for historicals, right? So this one is I just loved all the explanations. So this one is a scandalously steamy forbidden marriage of convenience. It's age gap unrequited love with a happily ever after. So this one looks so good. Okay, so this one says his brother's wife, he loved his brother's wife. After losing his heart to Emmeline, the woman he could never have, Michael committed himself to a life in the army, fighting for king and country in the Great War, until his brother died, and Michael returned to Scarlet Castle as the Duke of Foxcott. Fed up with her lack of grandchildren, Michael's mother hatches a plan to bring Michael and Emmeline together in a marriage of convenience. However, whilst Michael agrees to court Emmeline, they both secretly long for something more passionate than a business arrangement. But Michael could have never imagined that hidden trauma lurked beneath Emmeline's emerald eyes. Michael and Emmeline soon ignite a flame that threatens to consume them both as they learn that all relationships come with risks, both wanted and unwanted. Will their marriage of convenience be successful, or will Emmeline's traumatic past catch up to her and sweep her away? If you're looking for a steamy historical romance novel, then surrender to the Duke today. So, yeah, y'all can see why I might have grabbed this, because it sounds sexy and steamy, but also that there is trauma we have to overcome, and your girl wants that. I want that. Okay, we're getting through these. All right, and then this is going to be a super quick one to share, and I plan to read this one very soon. So, Cupid's Peak by Leisha Cott. This is one of the Hollow Knight novellas, and I missed reading this one around Valentine's Day, but I just read the Mother's Day one, and I was like, dang, I like these, so I want to read this one soon. So this one says, hermit, introvert, homebody. All are adjectives that can be used to describe me, and that's how I like it. I'm content within the 4 walls of my home, safe from all the work one has to put in just to walk outside. But solitary life also means that the only real romance I get to experience is from my holiday movie marathons and watching my old high school crush play for the NHL. My extroverted twin sister, however, doesn't like my plans and sets me up on a date. A blind date on Valentine's Day at a 5-star resort. She somehow gets me to agree despite my very real aversion to being in public places, only when I arrive, I couldn't care less about anyone else in the room because the very man I cheer for through my TV is sitting across from me. And not only that, he's challenging everything I thought I knew with one simple question, truth or dare. It seems so cute. Absolutely will read it. I have been pleased with every one of Lee's short little novellas, so I will absolutely read that one for sure. Okay, this one I'm nervous to read, and I may not end up reading this one because I did look up a few reviews and they scared me. So I'm honestly asking you guys, if any of you have read this, what you think of it, because I've seen really mixed stuff about it, and some of the trigger warnings for it make me a bit nervous for it. So this one is called So Comes the Darkness by Arabella Holmes. And this one says, Vanessa Evans hates her dad's new girlfriend, Lisa. She thinks Lisa is evil and longs for the day that her father realizes what a huge mistake he's made. When circumstances force Lisa to move into Vanessa's home, she isn't prepared for the unimaginable events that follow. Lisa unleashes a secret weapon, her scorching hot son, Shay. The moment Vanessa meets him, the attraction between them is undeniable. She tries to fight her feelings but cannot help but being drawn into him. When he moves into the bedroom down the hall, Vanessa knows she's in trouble. How will she cope having him so close? Soon, Shay begins to pursue her, and it becomes clear he will not rest until she submits to his carnal S&M lust. Will Vanessa escape the clutches of her gorgeous house guests? Does she want to? What will she do when he finally reveals his deep, dark secret? So Comes the Darkness is a standalone monster romance with erotic horror elements for those who like their spice on the dark side. So I'm a little nervous because I heard there are possibly some like torture and dark things in here. And so I'm asking you viewers, if you've read this, if you think I will enjoy it. I know that's difficult to gauge because I can do some erotic horror sometimes, but I don't like it to involve like body horror or aspects of that. Those things kind of freak me out. So you let me know if you read this one, but I snagged it because I was like, ooh, interesting. And like, I like the idea of it's almost like a stepbrother, except it's his dad's girlfriend yet. They're not like married yet. So I don't know. All right. Then there is Afterglow by Maria Monroe. And this one is an apocalypse romance, which some of y'all have been asking for, like, literally, I don't know what's up. Maybe it's because I was rereading some Claire Kent, and so people were wanting this. But in the last, like, week, I had 6 different people ask for an apocalypse romance or end of the world stuff. And I'm thinking about making this video, but I don't have a ton of new recs for it. So I need to read some more. So that's what this one is for. And this one says this. Who knew the apocalypse could be sexy? I did. I knew. Nina can shoot a gun, start a fire, and take care of herself. So when a killer virus and solar storms decimate the country, she's as prepared as possible to survive. She just needs a motorcycle to navigate the cluttered roads and meet up with her family. Creed, former Marine, is tattooed and tough. He's scarred inside and out. Loss is no stranger to him, and he avoids getting close to anyone at all costs. When Nina tries to steal his motorcycle, they have a vicious fight, but necessity and attraction force them into an uneasy alliance. They travel together through the dangerous landscape when trouble lurks around every corner and they need each other to survive. But the biggest danger just might be falling in love. So, equally as exciting as it is sexy. It says there is graphic sex and some violence, so enter at your own risk. I am willing to risk it. So yeah, I also have some apocalypse romance that I bought on my Kindle because I had some Kindle points to use. But this is one that I have in KU. So I will hopefully be getting to that soon, and then maybe we'll have some recommendations coming for you. All right. Then we have The Backup by Kata Quick. I don't know why I grabbed this one. Where did this one come from? I actually have no clue where this one came from, y'all. Or why I have it. But it says it's a fake relationship, friends to lover, sports romance. So let's see what it says. What's a girl to do when she finds out she's played an unintentional mistress to a professional football player? Hitch, the fate of my reputation to one of his teammates, of course. The jilted wife wants revenge, and I don't blame her. Unfortunately, my family counts on me to be a steady source of income. As devastated as I am about being an accidental homewrecker, I'm not the only one with something to lose if she sinks her claws into me and ruins my pet grooming business as payback. Enter Kyle Jessup, backup quarterback and heroic knight in rusty armor. His proposed plan is simple. I scratch his back and he scratches mine. If he keeps his teammate out of hot water with his wife, then my business stays afloat. All we have to do is pretend that my stint as an adulteress was a cover-up to keep our fledgling relationship out of the press, while Kyle takes over as QB1 for his team. Listen, I know this sounds like making a bad situation worse. Honestly, my life can't get much worse, so this harebrained scheme is par for the course. Yes, I know more about golf analogies than I do about actual football. Yes, I'm well aware that I'm out of my league. Yes, I have to figure out how to fake it till I make it for the rest of the season. The only rule I really need to know, do not trust any more men, especially not the football-playing variety. Not even grumpy ones who show their inner gooey center from time to time. Not even committed ones who give more than they take. Not even exceptionally talented ones who, never mind, that's not part of the plan. Kyle Jessup can't be my Prince Charming. I've learned my lesson. Happily ever afters don't exist, right? Come on, girl. We're all about the HEAs here. We're all about the HEAs here. All right. Okay, then I have Jerk by Daryl Bauer. I think it's Bauer. And I won't read the explanation for this one because this is for the ABCs of Love Readathon. So I don't need anyone to convince me to read this one because it's happening. Also, a collection of monstrous short stories by Lily Mayne. I'm not going to be not reading that because that is a new release from her. So the only other two we have are these ones. So we have Lord of Gold and Glory, which is the next book after A Court of Blood and Bindings, which I just read. And let's read about this one. I'm also probably definitely going to be reading this, but let's read it anyway, okay? There's no taming a fae like the Silent Death. Emmeline has escaped the Crimson Court and saved Creon from the Mother's chains, but her newfound allies bring dangers of their own. Thrown into a world of old feuds and thorny grudges, she needs all her ingenuity to keep the Silent Death safe from his friends turned enemies. And the political games of the Alliance are the easy part. Haunted by shadows of his past and magic he never wanted to wield, Creon is slowly losing control of his powers. The only solution may be found outside the buried halls of the Alliance's stronghold, back within the reach of the Mother and her armies hunting him. Soon Emmeline can no longer hide from the war looming over the archipelago, and when her quest for Creon's safety reveals glimpses of her own mysterious origins, she has no choice but to claim her place on the battlefield or lose the male that she loves. So yeah, hopefully that was not too spoilery for people since it's just a pretty vague explanation. And then the final one that I have on here is Slaying the Shifter Prince. So this one just released. This is by Claire Sager. And this one is going to be like within the Mortal Enemies to Monster Lovers. And I believe that each of them is a standalone. Yeah, each of them is a standalone. So this is also with Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, which I haven't got to yet. But I saw this one came out and I wanted to snag it right away because all of these covers are just beautiful and I want to like more. I hope this will introduce me to other fantasy authors as well, since I already love Carissa Broadbent. So this one says, aerial performer Zeta has dedicated 10 years of her life to the one thing and one thing alone, vengeance. Armed with an iron blade, she must take the skills and give the performance of a lifetime to kill the notorious Prince of Monsters, the Fey Prince responsible for her sister's death. But when Zeta's plans fail, she finds herself imprisoned, sentenced to be the prince's pet as punishment for her crimes. With cruelty as sharp as his claws, Zephyr is everything Zeta expected from her enemy, yet he's also patient and obsessive, particularly when it comes to his pet's punishment. Ooh, I'm getting the flutters. Nevertheless, Zeta refuses to surrender, not even to a Fey Prince. Zephyr may have collared her, but nothing can stop her from getting her revenge, not even at the cost of her heart. Full of claws and curses and a deadly game of cat and mouse, the twisted reimagining of Beauty and the Beast is perfect for fans of A Court of Thorns and Roses. Come on, we know that's got to be what we compare it to. So, this series is full of villains, morally great characters, touch her and you die vibes, and you'll devour this sexy, addictive series. So, All right, so those are all of the books that I have in my KU. The ones that I plan to prioritize the most are, of course, A Crown of Cruel Lies, Jerk, because I need to get to that one, A Collection of Monstrous Short Stories, Lord of Gold and Glory, I want to read soon, and Surrendering to the Duke. So those are the ones I'm going to say I'm prioritizing. And again, down below, please leave me your suggestion, what you'd like to see me prioritize, which ones you have either read or the ones you want to know more about, just to kind of help me out. Like I said, I've made this video a few times, and each time I've made it, it has made me more aware of my KU, because sometimes there's books that get added on there that I just never get back around to because I got them for free and then I never get to them. So this is to kind of help me clean it out and push forward, and I will definitely put some of these on my June TBR, so let me know which ones you recommend. So thank you so much for watching this video. It means so much to me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.